So I want to ask you a question, and that is, do you know what might be causing your disease? And do you believe that it could potentially be your gut, no matter what is going on in your body? This is one of the things that I fell in love with when I was on my own healing journey. And what I learned is that we don't really think about digestive issues being the root cause, but I love what Hippocrates said, and that is all disease begins in the gut. So you may not be aware, but we have about 10 times the amount of bacterial cells than we do human cells. Pretty amazing, right? And a lot of the bacteria in our gut, they are there, and they are helping us in some way. But if they're overgrown in a certain manner and the wrong amounts, then they can actually wreak havoc on our health. So I want to talk to you today a little bit about this because so many people come to me and they're like, I have no digestive symptoms. But yet, when we start working on the gut, they start to see improvement in their health conditions. So, when you think of digestive issues, you're probably thinking about things like bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion. And you might even think about diseases like celiac or Crohn's or colitis or even irritable bowel, which is something I suffered from for many years. But what you may not know about an unhealthy gut is that it negatively impacts your liver, your immune system, and yes, even your brain. So, and it can really show up in a lot of different ways. So, a lot of people with unhealthy guts have mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, brain fog, depression, anxiety, and even skin issues. It can lead to hormone imbalance. And of course, we've all probably dealt with some of those food cravings, right? So, what I want to tell you about Hippocrates is I want to kind of add something to that. And I like to say, if all disease begins in the gut, then we have to consider that that's where healing must begin too. So, to help you today, I want to share with you a few things that I've learned from experience in building a healthy gut naturally. So, I'm going to give you 7 tips that you can take away today to help you rebuild your gut. And it doesn't really matter your disease process, like I was saying. What if the gut is the root of your health issues and you go and implement these things and resolve those? Wouldn't that be amazing? So why not give it a shot? All right, let's talk about the 7 ways. Number one is you want to remove inflammatory foods. So these processed foods that you love to eat, I know I used to love them too. These things are causing food sensitivities, they're causing inflammation every time you put those in your mouth. So I want you to focus on eating the ones that God made. Those should actually make up the bulk of your diet. Number two is you want to chew your food. So I'm not going to ask you to count how many times you chew your food. A lot of people do that. But I want you to know that chewing your food to the consistency of salsa is very important. So doing that helps release those digestive enzymes into the food, and your body is more able to break down those things more easily for digestion. And your stomach doesn't have teeth. So that's the mouth's job, right? To break down our food. And you make it a lot more difficult on your digestive system if you're swallowing that sub sandwich in like its full amount, right? So you also, number three is you want to keep your bowels moving. I know it's a hairy topic. Nobody wants to talk about it. You don't have to talk about it, but I want you to listen to this. If you're struggling with constipation, there are things that you can do naturally to help that. Number one is neural activation techniques. Really, all that means is that you're stimulating the vagus nerve. And to do that, you can do things like gargling, just adding water, gargling, singing. So you can belt it out in the shower, have a good time, even in your car, maybe on the way to work. So good for stimulating that vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs all the way from the brain to the anus and all the way down your spine. And you can also do deep breathing exercises if you're not familiar with that. There's some great things on YouTube, or you can shoot me a message and I'll send you additional information on that. So all these exercises, they wake up your brain and they remind it of its role in intestinal mobility. Number four is you want to address bacterial overgrowth. So if you have bacterial overgrowth, those kind of bad guys that are kind of going in the wrong direction, then you're going to want to bring those into balance. Now, this may be a great time to bring in healing herbs or probiotics to do the job. It really just depends on your situation. A lot of times, food can be medicine, but in situations where food is not enough, you really want to make sure that you're doing the right things to help bring balance into that gut. So if you're ready to take charge of your health and get to the root of your problem together, you can feel free to reach out to me. And I have a small application that can help you customize that process. Let's talk about number 5, and that is heal the leaky gut. And it's not really a question of whether or not you have leaky gut. The question really is how bad is the leaky gut? Because we all deal with stress. We all have to consider the fact that we are eating some inorganic foods. Even people that try to do it perfectly, we're not always getting 100% organic, likely. Sometimes there's medications in the picture. We have to worry about environmental toxins, the air that we're breathing in, and infections. All of those things make leaky gut worse. So when we work to restore the gut lining, this is going to help prevent inflammation in the body. And it can also prevent disease processes from occurring. Number 6, you want to make sure that you support optimal stomach acid. So make sure that you have the right amounts of stomach acid on board, because you want to be able to prevent this bacterial overgrowth from happening again in the future. And it's one of the best ways, because you're creating an environment in the gut that these bad guys really don't want to live. So if you have the stomach acid at optimal levels, then you're also going to digest your food better. And you can improve your stomach acid on a regular basis by eating foods that increase it, like ginger, using apple cider vinegar, maybe on a salad. You can use lemon, and you can even increase your fermented foods. So think about indigestion, for example. If you have indigestion after a meal, then that can actually be a sign that you have low stomach acid. So to find out, you can do what is called the apple cider vinegar test. And if you take a small dose before your meals and it improves your digestion, then it's a sign that you may have low stomach acid. Number 7 is you want to eat a balanced diet. So I've gave you a lot of things above that you can use to help kind of create balance in your diet. And I want to tell you that health is not about deprivation. I never feel deprived by eating healthy foods. In reality, it's about making those healthy choices about 90% of the time, and then leaving yourself that 10% wiggle room, because you really want to reach your goals, but you want to have a life in the same token, right? So this is really going to give you that freedom so that you can be a human who also lives in health. So you were created to live a life of health. You were not created to sit on the couch, tired every day, dealing with symptoms, dealing with weight issues, and dealing with getting the cold and flus and infections and viruses and all those things that kind of bog down your immune system. That is not the life that you should be living. And if that is your life, then please implement these things that I'm telling you about today. And really, you can improve your health by just doing the little things that I've mentioned. Probiotics are amazing, increasing your vegetables are amazing. And if you just, number 1, change your diet, changing your diet alone can literally help you change your life. I have an entire program devoted to helping reestablish the gut microbiome. Like I said, if you need additional information there, let me know. I would love to support you, and go out there and make the rest of your day amazing.